there, I'm Zak Cole, marine biologist and wildlife filmmaker, and today I want to nerd out as we watch drone footage of hammerhead sharks attacking and eating other sharks. So content warning if that's not your thing. Last week I posted a video about blacktip sharks, and that's an awesome video you should go check out after this. In that video, we talked about hammerheads predating on them. Every spring, thousands of these male blacktips migrate along Florida's east coast. And over the years, research teams have noticed that these blacktips are being attacked and eaten by great hammerheads, which is weird for hammerheads because normally they eat stingrays, like these white-spotted eagle rays. Hammerheads are actually specialized stingray hunters, but they will eat other fish. The blacktips that we have here in Florida average around 5 feet long. However, our hammerheads are one of the biggest sharks that we have in the state, getting around 12 feet long, so they're more than twice the size of these blacktips that they're hunting. We only have two other species that get bigger than them, that being the tiger shark and the great white. Here we see a great hammerhead approaching a school of blacktip sharks. And you'll notice two things that the blacktip sharks do in response to this large predator approaching them. Half of the sharks are going to start swimming this way towards the beach, and the other half of the sharks are going to very quickly swim out into deeper water and then suddenly kind of turn around to get back into shallow water. The reason that the blacktips are heading into this shallow water is because the hammerhead's just too big to follow them there. We're literally talking water that's just a few inches deep. It's exactly the area that you play in when you're visiting the beach here in Florida. That's where all of these blacktip sharks are hanging out to escape bigger sharks. And you'll see here the hammerhead decides, that it's too shallow, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn around and head back out into deeper water. This is a really interesting clip of the hammerhead hunting the blacktips because you'll notice that one of the blacktips will start following our great hammerhead. This is a defensive behavior that's called shadowing. The idea is to stay directly behind your predator, so you can see all of their movements, but they can't see any of yours. And as they approach more shallow water, that little blacktip will peel off because it's a lot safer in that shallow water than staying directly behind a predator. So you'll notice here that the blacktips have actually split into two different groups. We have this group over here that's still moving up the coast. They're in really shallow water. They're very safe from the hammerhead here. And then we have this group over here that's kind of circling in slightly deeper water. And that circling behavior is a really great way to help detect that predator, to help see that great hammerhead before he gets too close to the group. And if one of your group members reacts, you know that they're probably seeing the predator, so you're gonna follow them to safety. So right now, this is just another defensive behavior that we're seeing. All around, very cool to see these different behaviors by these different shark species. You'll also notice just how clear the water is. And this is really great if you're a prey animal and you want to see where your predator is. Unfortunately, it also works to the predator's advantage because they can see where you are. Now in this case, the shallow water is on this side and the deeper water where the blacktips are is on this side, and the hammerheads kind of separated them from the safety of those shallow waters. And the hammerhead's totally going to take advantage of this and charge them. So we've seen how the hammerheads hunt when the water is crystal clear, and they can definitely see the blacktips that they're hunting, and the blacktips can see the hammerhead. But water isn't always going to be clear. It's going to get murky, and that's going to affect their eyesight. So here in this murky water, the sharks are going to have to depend on other senses than eyesight. Now humans and sharks do have the same 5 senses: sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. Sharks actually have 2 more senses in addition to the 5 that I just mentioned. The first of these allows them to feel vibrations in the water through an organ called the lateral line. It's a line that typically runs along the side of their body from their head to their tail. And all fish, including sharks, can actually pick up on nearby vibrations in the water. It's kind of like if you were to go put your hand up near a bass speaker, you can feel the vibrations in the air hitting your hand. But this happens in the water instead. The other sense that sharks have is electroreception, which allows them to pick up on electrical frequencies and ion changes in the water through an organ called the ampullae of Lorenzini. To me, the ampullae look like blackheads all over the shark's face, and they have them spread out all over them. Every shark species have these. There's a bit of a misconception about how good the electroreception of a shark's ampullae of Lorenzini are. You often hear in TV shows that sharks can pick up on electrical signals sent from your brain to your muscles or from your heart, but those electrical signals move through the human body at 60 hertz. The electroreception of a shark can only pick up on electrical signals with a frequency of 1 hertz. The electrical signals moving through the human body are just too high of a frequency for sharks to pick up on. It's sort of like a dog whistle in that they can't hear it, it's outside of their range. So our great hammerheads are going to have to depend on some different senses in this area because they can't see the blacktip sharks that they're hunting, and they probably can't hear them or feel them through their lateral line. Now you might be thinking, well, why would the blacktips stick around if they can't see the potential threat? While they can't see the hammerhead that's around them, the hammerhead also can't see them or pinpoint their location. So instead, the idea is that the hammerhead's just gonna hopefully bump into a blacktip that it can catch and eat. And you'll notice that the hammerhead and the blacktips are literally bumping into each other. And here the hammerhead's gonna go after a blacktip, and as it's going after that blacktip, it actually loses track of it and starts chasing a different blacktip instead. Unfortunately for the hammerhead, it doesn't catch anything, which is actually pretty normal in the ocean. Predators don't always catch something. But what does it look like when it is successful? So here you'll see the hammerhead approaching a blacktip that's moving a little slower than the others, isn't as reactive, and the hammerhead just goes up and grabs it. Researchers have known for decades that great hammerhead sharks attack and eat blacktip sharks, but until recently this was never filmed before, and this kind of footage hasn't been shown anywhere. You won't even find this on Shark Week. Everything that you've just seen was provided to me by Dr. Stephen Kajura at the Elasmo Lab at Florida Atlantic University, and I want to say thank you so much, Steve. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Until then, I'm Zak Cole, this is the Great Hammerhead Shark, and thanks for checking out what makes Florida so wild. If you'd like to see more of my shark videos, click here to see my blacktip sharks, or here where I go diving with lemon sharks. I also have a video talking about if Megalodon is still alive.